This is Druid4574 with the first installment of my Elite Dangerous training videos. In this video we'll learn how to control a ship, basically. The very basics. I'll talk about the key binding and basic controls, and a little bit about basic flight and controlling a ship. We're on Enceladus, one of the moons of Saturn, and I just thought it would be nice to have a good horizon as a way to have a reference point for these doing these flying maneuvers. So I'll talk about planetary landings and such later, but I'll just get in the air here. Alright, so in most of the game you'll be in flight much like this, where you'll have full command of your ship, and there won't be many obstacles that will stop you. Although Enceladus is a moon, a planetary body, and does have gravity, its gravitational constant is very, very tiny at 0.01 Gs and will not really affect this video. The basic flight maneuvers that you can accomplish in a ship are just very much like that of any flight simulator, where you have forward motion. I'll just get moving here. You have forward motion and pitch, which is up and down. And the default controls with mouse and keyboard. The mouse controls your pitch, as well as your roll, which is rolling to the side. So pitch and roll are on the mouse. And your throttle, that is to say your thrust, are the W and S keys in the default binding. Slow down a little bit here. And Elite Dangerous ships have throttles, much like airplanes do today, rather than a accelerator pedal like in a car, where you have to hold it down to maintain a certain speed. It's a setting, if you will. So, in a ship, in Elite Dangerous, you have other things available to you that are not available in a traditional flight simulator. A spaceship has thrusters, so you can thrust down, for example, straight down, and the original default configuration, that is the F key. And you can thrust up as well, that's the R key. And then you can also thrust left and right as well, so in the default configuration those are Q and E. I'll demonstrate that here. Thrust left. And thrust to the right with the E key. Many ships are capable of great speeds, even thrusting side to side. However, some have different thruster configurations which make it better for thrusting in different directions, but I'll get into that later. So let's try some other things that you can do. We are, of course, above the moon, but we're hovering. My ship's thrusters are providing enough thrust so that I don't crash down to the surface. Although if I turned off the flight assist, which is one of the functions worth playing with, that would cause me to start moving down. You can find flight assist here on your functions tab if you look to the right in VR, or use the 4 key to access the menu on the right side of the screen. Alternatively, you can also unlock your view by hitting the mouse center button and view it that way. So if I'm in center button, if I'm using the center button, it unlocks the reticle there, and I can look to the right, and the menu will pop up, and then I can select what I want. I believe this is similar how it works in VR. So yeah, if I want to change my flight assist mode, I can do that here. There's also the Z key, which will change the mode.
Flight assist on.
Sometimes you have to change things like that from the settings. I may have to be careful here because I'm being scanned. It's just someone checking out why there's a ship here. Fortunately, I am allied with those, so we will have no issues. Another useful key for basic flight maneuvers is the X key. So that sets your throttle to 0 no matter what it's at. So for example, I can come to a dead stop just like that. But let's practice some basic flight maneuvers here. I'm going to get up to speed here. So I'm rolling to the right using the mouse, and I'm pitching up using the mouse. And there we see the planet Saturn in the distance. But now I want to gain some altitude. So there's a couple ways I can do that. I can point the ship's nose up, and I'll gain altitude there. And that works well. Alternatively, I can stay at this elevation and thrust upward. The ship will continue forward and up at the same time. Now we're headed pretty much straight up, and my thrust up command is overriding the throttle for the most part going forward. Things that a ship can do that an aircraft cannot seem a little bit dangerous. Can point the ship's nose down, and then when it looks like we're getting a little bit too close to the surface, I can slow down. But most importantly, we can come to a dead stop. Later on, I'll talk about planetary landings and why that's not particularly wise on a planet with high gravitational constant. But that will be for another video. I believe those are the basic flight controls for just flying around. And later I will talk about other aspects of the game. Thank you for watching.